Good evening. Welcome to the October 11th Lebanon Board of Works meeting. Our first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, move on to the roll call members. Madam Clerk, call roll, please.
Mayor Gentry.
Here.
Becky McClure. Present. Bill Stoner.
Present.
Dick Robertson.
Present.
Alan Milburn.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, next we'll move on to the approval of minutes from our previous meeting. We actually have two sets of minutes tonight. The first are the minutes from September 12th. Are there any changes to those minutes? We'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from September 12th.
I make a motion we approve the minutes for September 12th.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Second from Judge. All say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those are approved. And we have the minutes from September 26th. Are there any changes to those minutes?
Make a motion we approve the minutes for September 26th.
Motion to approve. Is there a second? Second. Second from Alan. All say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those are approved. All right, on to department head reports. First up, Police Department, Chief Morgan.
Good evening, board members. Since our last meeting, the Lebanon Police Department has responded to 541 calls for service, and a total of 16 people were arrested for the following crimes. 1 for operating while intoxicated, 7 were wanted on a warrant, 1 for domestic battery, 1 for possession of meth, 1 for dealing meth, 2 for possession of marijuana, 1 for possession of a legend drug, 1 for auto theft, 1 for resisting law enforcement. In that same time frame, they responded to 18 crashes, and a total of 1 handgun carry license was sent off to the state for final approval. On to the training. Trey Hendricks completed the Darkness to Light child abuse prevention training that was hosted at our station, and it was put on by Sylvia's Child Advocacy Center. Our 3 new hires have successfully completed the pre-basics and are currently riding with their FTO officers. And then the hiring process that we are currently in right now, we had 30 applicants. We had 16 of them show up for the physical agility test. We had 11 pass the physical agility test and move on to the written test. They did both in the same day, and we're waiting for the test results to come back from that. So we're down to 11 already. So then our investigators, they had, this is for September, they had 33 new cases assigned. 2 were submitted for charges. 4 were submitted for review by the prosecutor's office. The prosecutor had 4 follow-up requests. They closed out 9 cases. Assisted the road officers with 2 cases. So the total current active cases for right now is 21. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for Chief from the board? Anything from the public? Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next will be Fire Department, Chief Batts.
Good evening, everyone. Since the last Board of Public Works and Safety meeting, Lebanon Fire has made 127 emergency calls of service, logged 317 training hours, completed 40 commercial inspections, performed 6 car seat installations, and participated in 4 public education events. On October 4th, crews from LFD, CTFD, Boone County EMS, and the Lebanon Police Department participated in a mock incident at Crown Point Assisted Living. The event is held on a semi-annual basis, helping the staff at Crown Point, along with other public safety agencies, to meet the requirements of our regional response guidelines. The Station 12 exterior remodel is complete. Special thanks to Caldwell Investment Group. They did an absolutely amazing job with the station, and it looks very nice. I would encourage you to take a quick drive by and take a look at it. Firefighters Kyle Plummer, Josiah Heath, and Calvin Carter have completed their probationary year and doing an outstanding job for our department. On September 27th, 28th, and 29th, LFD and CTFD crews trained together on high-angle rope rescue at U.S. Cold Storage. The training focused on removing a worker having a medical condition over 80 feet above ground. October is Fire Prevention Month. LFD will make contact with over 1,200 students from elementary schools and preschools during this time. The public education events will focus on fire safety in the home, excuse me, and familiarity with firefighters and their personal protective equipment. And we are coming to a close on our hiring list. We try to renew that every 2 years. So tonight, I would like to seek the board's approval to open up a hiring process for the Lebanon Fire Department.
Can we make a motion for Chief was up here, I guess, to allow Chief to begin a new hiring process for Lebanon Fire Department?
I would make a motion to approve.
Yeah, we motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
I think it was actually Dick. Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes Fire Department. Next up would be Parks Department. John Messenger.
Good evening. We have another week at Seashore Water Park with repairs, replacing equipment. Slide steps, railings, vessels, and loungers all been power washed and cleaned. The slides have been buffed and waxed. The pump houses, concession stand, and bathhouses have been cleaned from ceilings to floors. There again, everything's been winterized. What I'm getting at, we have several facilities. We'll be doing that with all our facilities as they wind down. You have fall ball that's going on at Memorial Park. We'll do that with that facility. Same with youth football and the softball building over there at Abner Longley. But as these facilities become available and everybody gets out of there, then we go from head to toe, get a maintenance list, do all that, and that's just done throughout. What I'm really getting at is we'll be shutting the restrooms down at some point in time when the weather gets cold, but it is a process that we have to go through, so we'll take 2 or 3 days to do that, normally on the restrooms. Basically, the one by the playground at Memorial Park and the one at Abner. It takes several days to make sure everything's done so we don't break any pipes, and also that it's clean and ready to open in the next season. There again, we'll put it out as best we can, social media and whatnot, so everybody's aware that we'll still have the one restroom at Memorial Park that's heated, and that restroom will stay open, so as long as people know that. All the grounds, we've treated them for weeds and aerated, seeded, with fertilizer being applied now. A few security cameras have been upgraded and new ones installed. We were delayed over 5-6 months for parts again. It is what it is. That chain coming through, supply chain gets disrupted. So anyway, we're getting those parts finally in and installed. We started working on Christmas decorations. Anybody like to hear that? Nobody does. Look at all the heads shaking. Started on those and the lights. We'll be sure and have those up before Thanksgiving and flip them all on Thanksgiving. It is a fun time, but yeah, it's getting close to it, unfortunately. We have several memorial trees, I think 13 at last count, that'll be going up in several parks. Another bench going up, a memorial bench at the Hot Pond, which is really cool. I like to see that. Several trees out there also be installed later this week, and working on the conservation pond as we've been going. We've removed stumps and brush, trip hazards, whatnot. Made a few paths through there. We had Sagamore Conference for the cross-country middle school. They just love the atmosphere down there and the cross country running through around the conservation pond. Just want to thank them for coming, and they can't wait to come back next year. And it's a pretty big deal to get all the conferences in here and all the people. It was packed down there. Pixie Playhouse hosted their free fall party last Wednesday in Memorial Park. Hayride, and those ladies from Pixie do a great job. Did a nice job. They had perfect weather and had a huge turnout. Now, our fall pickleball league is almost wrapped up. They're playing this evening. Just got a call, hey, the lights aren't working. Yeah, that time change. It's getting dark earlier, so we just bumped up the lights a little bit earlier so people can get out there because it gets darker earlier. So anyway, tonight's our last night for league play, and the tournament will be held this Friday. Thanks to all the teams that have played. Look forward to our spring league. Mark your calendars for Saturday, October 29th. Our 2022 Pumpkins in the Park will take place in Memorial Park from 11 to 2. The cost is $5 per person, and you can enjoy hay rides, pumpkin painting, s'more station, kettle corn. Also have Travelin' Tom's Coffee there for some fun fall drinks. I'd like to give a special thank you to our sponsors as well, John Lastly Outdoor Solutions and Farmers Bank. And that's all I had for this evening.
Thank you, John. Any questions for John from the board? Anything for the public? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next will be Engineering Department, Kevin Krulik.
Thank you. Good evening. A few updates from projects and current and upcoming projects around town. Top of the list is the 2023 street resurfacing projects. We've got projects around the city, East Street, Anderson Lane, Washington Street Outer Drive, as well as finishing up the other half of the Chadwick neighborhood. Potentially looking at a couple other projects that may come on there. Riley Road widening may be one as well. But later this evening, I'll be asking for your approval to authorize the issue of bidding documents for that program next year. Sometime probably in the end of the month, late November, or late October, early November, we'll find out about Community Crossing Awards. So we like to have those bid documents ready to go so that we can get things under contract hopefully by the end of the year. So we're tentatively looking at publishing bidding documents on the 21st, pre-bid meeting on the 11th of November. Bids due that Monday after Thanksgiving on the 28th, and then possibly awarding, if all goes well, at your first meeting in December on the 12th. Also, on that same vein, we'll also be asking for authorization for bidding documents for the 2023 Street Department supplies. Other projects, the Whit Road project, everyone's favorite project. Just remind everyone, we're still in liquidated damages. We're still not complete. The box extension was completed around the end of last month on the 30th. We were working with our partners at Lebanon Utilities, and they were working with our contractor to relocate the water main that was in conflict with the bridge. That was essentially wrapped up late yesterday. John mentioned some supply chain issues. We're seeing a real shortage right now in cement. So the key ingredient in making concrete is a real problem right now. And it's beginning to affect a lot of projects. We're hearing a lot of contractors that are saying, I don't know when I can get concrete. It's at least 3 weeks away, and they won't even give me a date. We're seeing major contractors like Reith Riley, who are building the Grant Street project, like Calumet, who just finished up the trail. We're being told they get 70 yards a day, don't ask for any more. 70 yards might seem like a lot of concrete, but contractors of that size and scale use 300 to 500 yards a day. So there's a real problem in the industry, and what I'm hearing is that it's all stemming from the cement supply chain. So a lot of things are in flux right now. We can't really confirm exactly what schedules are. If that supply chain issue is resolved and weather cooperates, the rest of the Whit Road Bridge kind of looks like this. Basically the rest of the week we'll be wrapping up final grading, placing riprap, moment slabs from now through the end of the week, concrete flat work, which is sidewalks, drive approaches, next week. And also next week, for the next week and the following week, we're rolling into the cast-in-place concrete rails on the bridge, again, concrete dependent. And then that last week of October, we're looking at asphalt paths, also final asphalt surface on the street, and then we got a lot of miscellaneous cleanup like striping, seeding, guardrails to be installed. Contractor's still looking at wrapping up the end of the month or the first week of November, but obviously a lot going on there, and with the concrete supply issues, you might have noticed I mentioned concrete about 3 times in the major tasks that have to be completed in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So a lot going on there. On the Witt Road project, the federal aid project, we're just waiting on NDOT to approve our design contracts so that we can move forward with that. So that's all in NDOT's hands right now. Hopefully, we'll hear something on that approval, get purchase orders so we can start working on that in the next couple of days, or no more than weeks, hopefully. Elmwood Bridge, remind everyone, we awarded that project to Duncan Robertson. We've chosen USI as our bridge inspection firm, and we have now set a pre-construction meeting for October 18th, so next week, to start laying out what that schedule will look like. There is a possibility, and we're coordinating with the Elmwood neighborhood, that the contractor may try to come in there and start that project in December, knowing that they wouldn't be able to pave it till the plants open up, in March or April, but going ahead and finishing the bridge over the winter, which I think is really probably a good thing. I'm waiting to hear back after the yearly meeting from the Elmwood Neighborhood Association over the weekend, see what their thoughts are, but, really I think we can cut down on the golf cart traffic and get that in over the winter, and probably be less of an impact to the neighborhoods. But remains to be seen. We'll discuss that more in the coming weeks, or coming days, excuse me. Grant Street project. Phase 1 is nearing completion. We've completed all the storm sewer on William Street. All the curbs have been poured on William Street. That concrete was ordered 5 weeks ago. It's the only reason we were able to get that honored on that delivery schedule. Sidewalks, as you might know, is up in the air right now. We were hoping to pour sidewalks in the next 2 weeks and wrap that up before we got to November, but that is a little bit up in the air as we stand right now. Asphalt is scheduled, no issues with the asphalt supply chain, so asphalt is scheduled to go in over the next 48 hours, weather dependent, and we're nearing a completion of that first phase that last week of the month, but again, not for sure what we'll be able to do with sidewalk concrete. We may have to come up with some sort of a temporary solution so that we can open that road and then allow the work on Fordyce Street that the utility company is doing to commence, or to continue east of Ann Street. Remind everyone, phases 2 and 3 for next year will start up in the spring, phase 2 being the east half of Grant Street, phase 3 being the west half. And then we've got phase 4 of the project, which is the intersection of William and Ann. That will be done next summer as well, while school is out. The balance of Grant Street, which is phase 2, which is from Indianapolis Avenue to Washington Street, that is also similar to the Witt Road federal aid project. It's awaiting contract approvals from NDOT so that we can move the right-of-way acquisition issues forward. The design is already locally funded and complete, so we're just waiting on the right-of-way buying and closing contract approvals so that we can finalize those purchases. Fordyce Street, I mentioned that earlier. Utility company is probably about 3/4 of the way complete with their sanitary sewer project. Again, they're working between Park Street and Ann, keeping Ann Street open for access to Central Elementary. Once we get William Street open, then we'll do that last block between Ann and Grant, hopefully after the 1st of November, once that street is open. Big Ford Trail, rural section is getting ready to go out to bid in a couple of days. Bidding opens up on the 13th, or that's the first published date for the bidding documents. Our urban section is really complete at this point. All asphalt, all concrete work is down. The lights are all installed. We've got service points for the electrical that will be going in later in the week. There's also some signage and some striping that's getting wrapped up, but essentially the trail is open for business. We've had our pre-final walkthrough. It took place last week. Punch list repairs are already being completed. First one, probably the most noteworthy, is the alley entrance just northwest of here on Meridian Street. We had to remove that for some grade issues, and that's already being re-poured. Trees are still to come. There's some street trees that come in, but they're all oak trees, so they can't pull those out of the ground until later in the fall after they go dormant. So that's still pending at this time. Also happy to report that we've installed trail counters in 3 locations so we can keep a better track of how many people are using the trails. We've got one counter that's active in Admiral Longley Park, just northwest of the football fields. We've got one just west of I-65, and then there is one at the near the Pocket Park in the Hazel Rig area, so we can start keeping track of how much traffic we're getting on the trails. Excited to see those results. Stone Eater Bike Park, a lot beginning to move there. Earthwork donations from the New Cold project are expected to start around October 24th, so we're just a couple of weeks away from that. Again, we have the READY grant, we have the American Rescue Plan money grants. Those are essentially being finalized. The READY grant does need financial commitment documentation from City Council and some of our private donations before that can be finalized, but that essentially, that recommendation for approval has been issued pending those financial commitments. Plans are now 100% complete and awaiting IDEM approval. We're just waiting to hear back from them. We've offered even to go down and sit and walk through all of those issues with them. Keep in mind, we've already addressed all of our environmental issues. This is more the engineering issues that we're trying to address with them. But they've already given us several go-aheads on the construction, at least at a preliminary level. Later in the meeting, I'm going to ask for authorization to issue a RFP for a construction manager. We think probably the most effective way to deliver that project is through a construction manager as constructor. That's a term that's in the Indiana code. It's just another delivery method that it's available to us. Basically, the benefit to that is a construction manager will issue bid packages that will be publicly bid, but they will hold all contracts. They will deliver a guaranteed maximum price. I think it's a good way. You see this on a lot of park projects, a lot of projects that have a lot of nuance to it, a lot of separate packages that don't always work well to bid all at once. So we can bid these through a construction manager, things like the trail construction, the landscape construction, all the site utilities. Those can all be bid in separate packages, and then the construction manager is responsible for managing all those contracts. So we've been working with a local construction manager to try to fortify our budgets over the last couple of weeks. Unfortunately, they're seeing some cost increases, and they've been trying to shore up our numbers. So unfortunately, we've seen some trail construction cost increases of about $250,000. We've seen landscape budgets jump up a little bit from about $700,000 to just over $1 million. Again, those are a lot of landscaping requirements that are really related to the buffer requirements of the county. And then some site utilities, some small increases there of about $100,000, but we think we can get some of that back with some material changes. So again, our budget has increased. If you're keeping track of those numbers, our total budget's a little over $3 million now. Previously, we were at $2.5 million. But that's what the project is standing at right now. Obviously, it just keeps getting more expensive, so I think the sooner we can get to construction and under contract, the better to lock in those prices. But again, we'll be asking for approvals later tonight for the issuance of an RFP to see what kind of proposals we get from construction managers, to see who would be interested. That can include pricing of the park as well, so it can further solidify those prices. And we'd like to move that forward. And then once we have those prices solidified, we'll go back for our financial commitments.
Hey, Kevin.
Yes.
I just want to put a fine point on that. You said the landscaping requirements based on the county's buffer requirements is $1 million?
Well, the $1 million is the total landscape. Some of that is for like seeding and things of that nature. But yes, the total buffer yard requirements are somewhere in the order of magnitude of roughly $700,000.
Okay, thank you.
So, a lot of landscaping.
Wanted
Regional detention, our legal drain project in cooperation with the county to reconstruct the Price legal drain under State Road 39 under the railroad tracks is moving forward. We're to be heard by the County Drainage Board on the 17th related to our MOU between us and the county. CSX coordination is moving forward. We got some preliminary comments about the format of our hydraulics reports on the 29th. Those have been resubmitted under their requested formatting. So moving that forward here, hopefully. That is from CSX, so obviously that is the key approval that we're trying to get in place. Riley Road widening, we're still working on that. We've completed all of our surveys. The preliminary design, utility verifications are all complete. We're also now getting ready to enter into a contract for the additional final design services to get us to a point where we can be under construction next year and start right-of-way buying the first of next year. Another smaller project on the same vein is Elizaville Road, trying to correct some drainage problems we have out there near the Winding Way neighborhood. That is now under construction with BLN to study that drainage and come up with some solutions for us. I sent you guys the inspection report, but a lot going on in inspections, as you can imagine. In the last 2 weeks, 11 SWIP inspections, 8 right-of-way inspections. We've also been doing a lot of outfall inspections. This is a relatively new program where we're actually testing the quality of the water that's going into Prairie Creek. Taking water samples and verifying what is there, looking for any potential contaminants that might be. Happy to say, so far, of the outlets we've tested, nothing seems to be out of whack, so we're in good shape. But I do want to point out, there's roughly 19 active construction projects right now in the city that we're tracking. Of those, 5 of them are sort of building phases of residential projects that continue to go. And then there's also other projects. There's another 5 projects that are miscellaneous street department or utility department projects, like the garage or some of the lift station projects or the water storage tank projects. A lot going on there. And then we're tracking 10 projects that are not even started yet, but have issued approvals. So really shortly here, we'll be tracking about, I say we, Mr. Calvert will be tracking about 30 different active construction sites throughout the city. So a lot going on, a lot more to come. Next spring, I think, is only going to see an increase. So,
Thank you. Go ahead, Dick.
Kevin, yesterday I was out taking a ride out into that addition there on the south side of 250.
yes.
There along the railroad tracks, and I noticed there was a couple drains that were not covered for
Okay.
that needed to be covered up
Sure.
because of mud and dirt was in them, so forth. And then also, that pipe at CSX, wasn't the county supposed to do that project a couple years ago or something there?
I'm not aware of that one.
I think a year or two ago, they were talking about doing something there and
Yeah.
with that, I don't know if it was at the pipe or the county tile, because I think there's a county tile underneath that pipe.
There is, and essentially,
Thing.
we're replacing the county tile. And it's important that we're replacing or reconstructing the county tile because that
So are they
opens up
helping us
funding
anything
programs.
financially to
No,
pay for
not-
their share?
Not planning to offer any financial assistance on this. Essentially,
Have we
what...
asked?
Yes, we've asked early on in the project. I know they did some repairs to that tile a couple of years ago when it was a failure.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
As they see it, it's fine today for the agricultural uses that drain into that. But the
Okay.
upgrade is really there to facilitate projects like the Field House project and the
Right.
Cedar Ridge Industrial Park project and the other projects that are currently under certain phases of development in that area. So,
Well, it must have been that repair that they did that I was thinking.
yeah, there was a repair under the railroad tracks.
Okay.
But yeah, they've been pretty adamant this is about facilitating development, not fixing deficiencies in their system. So they feel as though this is a city or developer-led project.
Okay.
Any other questions for Kevin, for the board? Anything for the public? Okay. Thanks, sir. Next is Planning Department, Ben Bontrager.
Good evening, board members. Planning department's been pretty busy the last couple of weeks, too. We completed 81 building inspections over the last couple of weeks, and I find that pretty interesting because we've had 1 week where an inspector was on vacation, and the other week, the other one was sick. So that was essentially one person that completed 81 inspections over the last couple of weeks. So we've been pretty busy there. In addition, we issued 60 permits over the last couple of weeks as well, and that includes 5 new single-family homes.
You said 60?
60, yeah, 60 permits over the last couple of weeks. That includes 5 new residential permits, and I was just tracking some permit issuance for the Lebanon utilities earlier today, and we're sitting at 108 new permits for this year, single-family permits. So we're probably going to end up in the 115 to 120 range by the end of the year, which is about almost between 30 and 40 permits higher than we've ever issued for single family, at least since I've been here. So strong numbers, and with some of the new neighborhoods and new sections of neighborhoods that'll be ready for next year, I think we're probably in the 125 to 150 permit range, probably pretty easily for next year. That'd be a conservative estimate. We also issued 2 new industrial permits for the spec industrial buildings that are going into State Road 39 and Enterprise Drive. So that project is moving forward. And then also permit was submitted to our office, the ILP permit for the Noble Street Homes project. So we're going to start seeing dirt moving down there on Noble Street for those homes. It's a great project to see that one moving forward. We also, for Plan Commission, had a number of new projects that were submitted for the November Plan Commission meeting, and that does include the cold storage facilities Phase 2 addition, which they're submitting plans for while they're still under construction on their Phase 1 project. So that's good news that they're seeing a demand for 280,000 square foot addition on a project that's not even complete yet. So that we'll be reviewing those plans over the next couple of months, so they can, my guess is they'll probably get the first phase open and they'll immediately start construction on the second phase. We did also have a PUD rezone application for a townhome development that's being proposed on North Lebanon Street, kind of in the vicinity of the hospital on the other side of the road. So it's a nice little infill project that we're looking at with the developer there. And then the primary plat application was filed for the Stone Horse single-family development, which is on 100 South across from Waterford. That's the Arbor Homes project. It's a little over 500 lots. So they're the primary plat getting in. They've submitted that, and we're still working through some of the utility discussions, but I believe that they're hoping to start getting dirt moving probably sometime next year on that development as well. So a lot, as Kevin mentioned, there's a lot of projects they're tracking from the inspection side, and there's a lot of new ones coming. So a lot of things working on there. On the code enforcement side, to continue to remain active, although we're starting to see a little bit of the fall-winter slowdown. Obviously, grass isn't growing as fast anymore, but we still did have 80 investigation activities over the last couple weeks and 17 new cases that we filed. So a lot of things happening, a lot of things to come. Happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you, Ben. Any questions for Ben from the board? Anything from public? Okay, thank you, sir. Next would be Street and Stormwater Department, Dave Newell.
How's everybody doing? Good. We've been out mowing around town. That's pretty much coming to an end, sounds like. I mean, we mowed last week and I don't see it growing, so it might be done for the season. We'll just keep an eye on it. We finished up crack sealing. We finished that up. So got a few streets crack sealed, which one of them was Lafayette Avenue and one was Camp Street and some other ones around town. So we had one person ask us if we striped the street, so I said, no, that's crack sealing. But the crew's been out saw cutting, doing some repairs on potholes, so we're wrapping that up, trying to, if you got any more, just don't hesitate to call the office at 765-482-8870 if you see any. But yeah, hopefully we got that pretty much nipped in the bud for the season before they shut the plants down. Our stormwater crew's been very busy repairing some drains and structures and pipes all over several places in town. I think the last place they're at was Marley, maybe, but they're staying busy with that, getting finally got all of our structures in, like I told you a couple weeks ago, so really getting rolling with that. We would like to remind some people we still have a couple job openings, so come by the street department or get online, whatever you want to do. Come join our crew. Update on the new street department. As Kevin mentioned, it was a project going on. The earth moving still ongoing. The seed and the straw, the pond banks. We was out there today and all that's they got the blankets on it, so it's looking really good. Holding water like we want it to. The site utilities are ongoing, like the water and fire lines. They're running some electric lines and conduit stuff for us still, for the gas shed or the gas pump and stuff like that. Let's see, the building foundations and walls are complete. The building had been delivered, or has been delivered, sorry, and the erection's ongoing now. The fuel canopy is complete. Strip footings and walls, that's still ongoing as well. And the concrete curb is ongoing, as Kevin kind of spilled the beans on that. That concrete's kind of a hard thing to get a hold of right now, sounds like. But I just want to remind everybody this is Brush Week. This will be the last one for the season, so green cycle's open, I guess, if you miss it. Or unless we have a big storm, we'll be out, obviously. But just to go out and do it, we won't be because of leaf season. I mean, what I've seen, they might fall a little early this year because I've seen quite a few already with the cold weather that came up. But you can't take it to green cycle if you miss it, if you feel like you need to still trim or whatever. They take it for free from our residents, so it's not a big deal. We would like to also try to remind our residents that the only thing that is allowed in the brush is a brush. We had an incident Friday. The guys picked up some brush, and for some reason, a steel bar didn't go through there, but we brought it back to the shop, went to lunch, and another guy come in with the truck, fed the brush through, and it shot the steel bar through the chipper box about 60 feet through our building, and then it hit a steel beam and stopped, and I don't know, it hit the building here. I was here fixing our garden hose, another guy was in front of the truck, so I thought somebody threw something, so then we started looking. So it was a close call for our guys. We just want to remind people that, just brush. We can't, once it gets like a projectile, we can't control it then. We got lucky this time. I'm just glad it was at the shop, because I don't know what would have happened out in public, how far to win, or if it's somebody's house or something, but we just hate to that stuff keeps happening. We're going to have to end it. I mean, there wouldn't be no way to continue it, so don't ruin it for a system, for other people that's trying to follow the rules. That's all we'd ask, and it's major safety concern, so I just want to bring that to people's attention, just a reminder. It's a good reminder for us, too, to be safe and remember that it's not just picking up brush, so that's all I have.
Thank you, Dave. Any questions for Dave from the board? No. Anything for the public? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Communications and Community Development, Joe LePage.
Good evening, everyone. You've probably already seen or heard, but today was a pretty big day in the life of our community. We broke ground on the Hickory Junction Fieldhouse. The Communications Department sent out public invitations, also headed up the marketing efforts, coordinated with local media to help get them to, local and area media, to get them to the event today. It was covered live on Facebook, so if you wanted to be there without being there, you could be there via Facebook. Portions of the groundbreaking were recorded and distributed to area media. You can see that on Fox 59, CBS 4, and Wish TV. Our drone footage will be on there later on tonight. The city's video will be coming up soon. Speaking of coming up soon, the work still continues with LPD, Lebanon Police Department, and their promotional video. The next shoot happens on the 13th, later on this week, putting together a larger scale promotional video for the department. As Kevin kind of mentioned, the Bike Park series continues. October through December, we'll be highlighting the fun features of the park, and Kevin will be walking us through that. The first one is the actual trail that is certified by the National Interscholastic Cycling Association, or NICA. And so each month leading up to now, through our Bike Park series, Kevin will lay out cool and neat and fun features that will make this park unique if and when it is constructed and comes to our community. Speaking of community, our Community Creation Days make a return to our community coming up this weekend on October 15th and 16th. On the monitor, you would see, there we go. So, as you may know, on State Road 32 or South Street, there's a mural going up. It's the Welcome Home mural. And so on October 15th and 16th, you can come out free of charge and help put some paint on that canvas. On Saturday, you can do that from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m., and on Sunday, 2 to 4. Everything is provided, everything is free. So the paint, the brushes, we'll even have some refreshments and some swag, Lebanon swag to give away as well. You can really make a memory there, and there'll also be professional artists there will help you along the way. So we're not going to ask you to paint Rick Mount or Mel Kenyon. We're going to have artists there to help you along the way. Again, free of charge. You can have kind of sweat equity in this mural as we welcome visitors to our community, but also remind current residents that this is home. And the other side says, welcome to Lebanon, Indiana. If you've seen it, that side is for the most part complete. There are a few touch-ups that are taking place. This side is incomplete on purpose, so you can get out and paint it yourself. Again, that's on October 15th, 16th, 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. on Saturday, Sunday 2 to 4. And again, it is free of charge. And right near Howard's Lawn and Garden is kind of where we tell people to, that's where the mural general location is. That's phase 1. Phase 2 will be kind of what you've seen that was suggested on Facebook. It's kind of like a train station. It kind of goes into the inset portion of that CSX overpass. So it would be kind of a cool step 1, step 2 process over the next year or two.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. Any questions for Joe from the board? Any questions from the public? Okay. Thank you, Joe, and appreciate all the assistance today, getting all the media. You did a great job getting that all set up, so appreciate that. Okay, next up is old business. There's nothing on my agenda for old business. Is there anything from the board? Okay. New business then. First item up is a street closure request from the Boys and Girls Club. Amy Harwick.
Hi, guys. You see me about once a year, and 44 days from today will be our annual Thanksgiving Day race. So we're here to, each of you should have a copy of our map that we're proposing for rolling closures. Lee came last year. He can help explain the route if you have questions on the route. It's slightly different from last year, but it's very similar, and we're looking forward to having people in Lebanon and the community out. One thing we changed was it's going to start and end downtown because we wanted to show off the downtown and make sure the community can see how beautiful downtown Lebanon is. So, Lee?
Hey, good evening, everybody. Since COVID, we don't like to do the same thing twice, so we're going to change the course every race we do. Then we had a really good time at Clues Brews when we were back here in June, and so we worked out with him to move the start-finish line there. I think based on last year's traffic pattern on Thanksgiving morning, it's pretty non-existent, so we shouldn't have too big of an impact on folks. But we're basically starting on Meridian Street right in front of Clues, just south of Washington, rolling up to Memorial Park, entering on the east side of their property, doing a loop, entering on the west side, exit on the east side. There's a golf cart path that connects into the Ulen neighborhood, do a loop in there, come back out, Country Club onto East Ulen, back to Meridian, and then south to finish. So we'll have cones on Meridian, just basically the center stripe, and cones on Ulen on the center stripe, mainly to alert motorists that there's a race going on, and then give runners a path to run in. If we get approval, we'll work with the officers to get 3 officers for that day to station at the higher traffic intersections. But it should roll pretty good. We're looking at an 8:30 to about 9:45 rolling closure. Everybody should be able to get anywhere they want to go. They just might have to pause for a minute, basically. So right in front of Clues would be where we have a hard closure from about 5:30 to, I think, 10:30 is what we're asking.
Yeah, 10:30.
5:30 to 10:30. Just obviously set up and tear down to the start-finish line and audio and that kind of thing. Yeah. And we're looking for 300 people plus, so tell all your friends to come out. It's going to be the biggest race in Lebanon's history.
If Rob were standing here, he'd say 500.
Yeah, he's mad because I said 3. That's all I
So
got.
join us. Any questions?
Okay. Any questions for the board for Amy or Luke? Okay. We'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
I make a motion that we approve as presented.
Motion approved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alan. All those who say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Remind, just go more plug here. What's the date?
Thanksgiving Day,
And so,
the 24th.
how do they register?
How to register, Boys and Girls Club website, right on the homepage, register here, go there, and just make sure you pick Zionsville, because we do have a race in Zionsville, same day, but pick the Lebanon route, and you'll be good to go.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next is probably the most eagerly awaited item this board does every year. The annual approval of the trick-or-treat times for 2022. Per tradition, I would entertain a motion to set the official city trick-or-treating time for October 31st from 6 to 9 p.m. 6 PM to 9 PM, to clarify. Have a motion there? Nobody wants to make a motion for trick-or-treaters?
I'll make a motion to approve the October 31st, 6 to 9 PM.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second.
Second.
Third, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Our trick-or-treat time is officially set for October 31st, 6 to 9 PM. Tell your friends, tell them not to post on social media about it. Okay. Next item, surplus item request for the Lebanon Fire Department. Chief Batts.
I would like to request the board surplus our 2017 Chevy Silverado pickup truck. This has been turned back into enterprise rental as a credit.
Any questions for Chief on that surplus declaration?
Nope.
Okay, Bill, anything you need to add?
No, I make a motion that we approve the surplus request for the 2017 Silverado to be turned in on lease trade.
Okay, motion approved. Is there a second? Second from Judge. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Okay, next is authorization to issue proposal request for construction manager for the bike park. Kevin touched on this recently. Any questions or concerning that from the board? Again, this is just the authorization to seek proposals for it, so nothing actually signing up for it. So would entertain a motion to approve Kevin to seek proposals for a construction manager for the bike park project.
I'll make a motion, we approve the request for the proposal for construction manager for the bike park trail.
Okay, we have motions. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill. All fair say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. Bid authorization for a 2023 street program. Kevin, anything you want to add to this, or are you good?
You know, I think I covered it pretty well in my report.
Yep.
So we got about 2.16 miles of street resurfacing we want to do. Again, just asking for approval to issue those bid documents. We will issue it in such a manner that we'll have a base bid and then a bunch of alternates for the different streets so that we can right-size the budget as we go into next year. Once we see what we have left over in this budget, and once we see what community crossing grants we receive, so.
Any questions for Kevin on that? Okay. Would entertain a motion then to allow, or for Kevin to seek bids, or authorizing to seek bids for our 2023 street resurfacing program?
I'll make a motion, we authorize the bidding for the 2023 street program.
Okay. Motion approved. Is there a second? Second. From Judge. We have a second down there. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that's approved. And finally, seeking bid authorization for the 2023 street department supplies.
Yep, same as usual, stone, sand, asphalt, just the bulk materials that the street department uses on a yearly basis.
Okay.
So same bid package we always issue, just reissuing it for 2023.
Okay. Would entertain a motion to authorize Kevin to seek bids for 2023 street department supplies.
I make a motion, we approve the bid authorization for 2023 street department supplies.
Motion to approve. Is there a second? Second. Second from Judge again. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. That concludes what I have for new business. Is there anything from the board? Okay. We'll move on to claims. We'll entertain a motion concerning the claims.
I'll make a motion.
I make a motion, we approve the claims.
Motion approved from Bill. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Claims are approved. Any announcements or discussion from the board? Any general public comment? Okay. Would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn?
We have a motion to adjourn from Dick. Is there a second? Second from Judge. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Our next Board of Works meeting will be Monday, October 24th at 6:15 PM. The redevelopment commission is up next.